Alrighty, it is now the 2nd of June, so just a couple days after I ended last episode. And I'm just going to come out here and pull some weeds. Doesn't look like there's a whole bunch I need to pull, so it shouldn't take me but a couple of minutes. Additionally, I just wanted to show you the ballooning that's going on. Like, it's to the point that it's pulling the staples up out of the dirt. Like, that's how much weed growth we have going on under here. So if you were doubting the fact that I needed landscape fabric the whole way across, here's your demonstration as to why. That's like a solid 6 inches up above the ground. So yeah. Anywho, I'm gonna go and make sure all these staples are still in the ground, and just look at that. That's just ridiculous. This is damn nutsedge. Like, good lord. Anywho, hopefully those will all croak here eventually in 5 or 7 years. That's nutsedge. Yeah, anywho, one other thing that is kind of annoying is this timer is absolutely resetting every day. It is currently 9:07. It says it's 12:53 a.m., which means that this thing reset at about 8:15. Which is interesting. I had it set to 7 o'clock. Or I had the timer set correctly, or the time set correctly, and the timer set to go off at 7. And I have it set on a 30-minute cycle daily. And for whatever reason, as soon as the sun hits this thing, there's the big ball of hydrogen up there. It heats up and then resets the clock, which is really annoying. So it seems to be resetting at like 8 something in the morning. I don't know if it's like pulling power to run the solenoid. It's a low power solenoid, so it shouldn't. It's like a solid state one. And then it's getting hot, and then what that's probably doing is it's causing this very flimsy battery pack back here. It's probably heating the body up and then pulling the contacts away from the batteries. So I may have to jam some aluminum foil in there. I had this issue before with trail cameras, especially Primos. It seems like every Primos I bought had that issue. If they were in the sun, the whole plastic case would heat up, expand, break contact with the AA's, and the whole thing would reset. Really annoying. But anywho, keep an eye on that. At the moment, it's fine because it's watering the plants once a day in the morning. It's just an hour or two after I'd like it. So for now, it's fine. Thankfully, it resets to 12:12, and thankfully, it's resetting in the morning. So not going to be, a major problem, but it is really annoying because that was like $40, and there's no excuse for that bullshit. But anywho, I digress. I'm gonna start pulling weeds. All right, well, I have weeded everything and put down all the staples and stomped on the Michelin manness, and looking better. May have to get some more landscape fabric staples. I used absolutely all of them, and I could probably use, I don't know, maybe another 100 more if I really wanted to. But anywho, I'm only pulling the weeds that are clearly and obviously making their way out of the hole. And that's because I've got a beneficial phenomenon going on here that I've observed before. Hey, look, a great southern white. Neat. Anywho, there's a bee under there, there's a snake under there, and when you have a bunch of weeds, oh, I missed one. When you have a bunch of weeds down here growing in well irrigated, fertilized soil, and they're light limited because they're trying to fight their way up into the sunlight, they're very easy to pull up because the substrate is sandy and moist, and they're fighting for light and they're not fighting for water, so they put all their energy into growing above ground leaves rather than below ground roots. So when you grab onto them, they have tiny little root systems and a bunch of stuff above ground, and they either snap off super easy like this crabgrass, I think it's crabgrass, or the just whole thing comes up out the ground like the nutsedge, which is a massive benefit for nutsedge, because if it's on droughty soil, it ain't coming up. You're just gonna rip the top off and it's just gonna keep coming back up forever. So I'm going to take advantage of that. However, I'm not really going in after this stuff because the cotton is very fragile at the moment, because the cotton is getting irrigated, and additionally because the nutsedge is lifting the fabric up off the ground. The cotton is also stressed for light and also has not developed its root system. So they're real soft and spindly right now. And it's probably going to be like that way for another month or so until they get about, knee high. And then at that point, it should have already thinned them. But anywho, I'm hoping that I don't regret this white landscape fabric. One, because I'm probably going to go blind. I think I need to invest in a pair of decent sunglasses for the first time in my life. I don't wear sunglasses because, reduces contrast. And because if you buy nice sunglasses, you don't want to, tip over, look down, and have them fall into the lawnmower when you're using them. Or rub sand into them all the time, and then you can't see anything. Anyway, I'm going to stop spinning around. I'm like dizzy, can't see. This stuff is bright. But anyway, another reason I think I might regret it is I think enough light is getting through this weave that we're reflecting in through the holes that these weeds are able to continue growing even underneath the fabric, and it's also not getting hot enough to cook them. But it's also I would say it's keeping me from getting hot, but because it's reflecting the sunlight back up at me, I'm actually getting smacked in the face with tons of UV, and I'm actually getting just as hot. So this white landscape fabric isn't really that much more expensive, but it's way harder to get a hold of. So in the future, I may just go back to black plastic fabric. I should be able to get that at any hardware store. I'm not going back to that real heavy, like 20-year stuff I had originally, because that stuff has like a felt underlayment and it just holds dirt and everything. It's a real pain to work with. This thinner, I think that was like 7 or 8 mil or something. This is like 5 mil. This is much better. This is the perfect thickness, and if I have to pull it up at the end here and throw it away, if I'm using the black stuff, it should be cheap enough that I don't have to worry about it. But anywho, I digress. I'm gonna keep pulling weeds and checking on these plants for the next probably month and a half, and as long as there's not any calamities, you won't see me back until we got squares or I'm thinning, one of the two. So catch you then. Okie dokie, it's June 7th. I'm gonna try and give weekly updates as best as I can. I'm out the rest of this week, so need to make an update now. It's just Tuesday, but the Michelin Man effect is getting fairly extreme now. But the fabric is still holding down. Cotton still doing great. Oh shit, we're busting a seam right there, so I'm gonna have to do something about that real quick. But plants are looking good. They're getting tall. Got lots of leaves on them. I anticipate we're gonna have some massive, rapid growth here going into July. So I'm excited. Well, I think we have a problem. I'm gonna have to get some giant stakes. Well, best laid plans of mice and men. This might actually be the end of the cotton. Not to doomsay, but we have a major event this weekend, and it's Wednesday, and I'm gonna be all out of pocket Friday and Saturday. I have Monday off. I got a shit ton of stuff to do for myself just to keep my head above water. And then next week I have 3 closings I'm working on and a last minute grant application. So that's the next month, 2 months of my life. I literally cannot get to this until next week. Minimum, probably 2 weeks. That row is gone. If I had a crew of 5 out here, which is impossible for me to get under normal circumstances, I could probably thin out the weeds enough to push the cotton back through the holes and get it back down. But this is 1,800 9-inch fabric stakes. Actually 1,200 9-inch fabric stakes ripped out the ground. It might have been, yeah. No, I think it is 1,800. I think it was 3 boxes of 600. What more can I do? Other than like making stakes out of rebar. I think the white landscape fabric plus the irrigation is the problem. Hell, that's not even nutsedge. That's crabgrass. Jesus. I think I can save that row, and this row hasn't even bulged up yet. This is more or less new. I'm gonna try and tamp that back down, but yeah, we've lost this row for the most part, as far as I can tell. Unless something changes, but yeah, that's no bueno. I'm gonna cut off the irrigation actually. This is, oh jeez. That was $1,000 and a couple months of labor just trying to get this thing started, and back to ruin again. Such is my life. Well, anywho, I'm going to tamp this down, but we're definitely not going to have a perfect year, and we are definitely not going to have a bumper crop. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, in the future, I'm going back to black landscape fabric. That super heavy DeWitt stuff that I had previously, I think that probably weighs a solid 5 to 6 times as much per square foot when wet, and I think that's going to be the only solution. That and, like, I think these are like 8 gauge 9-inch landscape fabrics. I might have to go to like a 12-inch or maybe a 6 gauge 12-inch. Probably something with barbs too, because it's just pulling it out the soft soil. Jeez, or that an extremely rigorous pre-treatment of with herbicide. Good gravy. Anywho, yeah. Guess that's the end of this video. Yeah, a little corn snake. I mean, that's a benefit, I guess. He's kind of stuck in here, but hi, corn snake. Okay, well, I was able to squish it down a little bit, but it's just going to do that again. I'm hoping having the irrigation shut off is going to cause this stuff to wilt a bit more, and then hopefully, I think, the white landscape fabric reducing water stress, I think that's working against me here because the weeds aren't getting water stressed, especially with the irrigation. So I think killing the irrigation is going to hurt the cotton. Absolutely. Probably is going to kill a bunch, but I'm hoping it'll kill the weeds faster, and I can get rid of enough of the weeds so I can turn the irrigation back on come August. But we'll see. Pretty much lost a whole row. That's gone. I just pinned the fabric down so it wouldn't get any worse. And those probably won't recover. They're too spindly. They're already all bent, broken. So, yeah, not looking good. But we will push forward, and with any luck, we'll at least make some amount of crop. And maybe sometime in the next 3 decades, I'll have one good solid crop. Maybe. Probably not. Well, it's now Friday, so it's been 5 days, and it seems shutting off the irrigation has helped a fair bit. Looks like the wind tried to peel that guy up, but we're not swelling up like we were before. I think my plan now is to go find a bunch of bricks and cinder blocks and other chunks of concrete, and maybe go buy some pavers if I have to, and just put one every 2 to 4 feet, just one on top of each row, and maybe put a cinder block every 4 feet on top of the rows, and maybe a brick every 2 or 3 feet in the alleys. And I think that should hold it down. Not ideal. I'm going to be tripping over those all year, but better than weeds. All right, it is now the 3rd week of July. I have literally not been out here since the last time, like not even once. This is my first time seeing it. And it looks like some of the plants are actually doing all right. However, the deer are apparently getting in over on the far side and starting to eat up on the plants, but they haven't gotten in the middle yet. I don't think they like walking on the fabric, so that's a good thing. But yeah, weeds are fierce. I have cut off all irrigation. This is totally self-sustained, but thankfully we've had tons of rain now. It looks like we might get a crop. I am passing the torch off to one of our volunteers, actually a whole pile of our volunteers, to manage this, because all the primary stuff I do with my job is getting extremely busy, which is great because I have not had that problem ever. But that also means that all the other side projects I've been doing just to keep myself busy while I twiddle my thumbs and wait for actual work to show up are, they're getting the short end of the stick. So, anywho, the cotton is still alive, it's still here, but I am never using this white landscape fabric again. I am definitely getting that really heavy duty black stuff, because what I'm saving in heat stress, I am losing in the weeds. It just not suppressing weeds like at all. As you can see, they are still down under there. So yeah, it looks like we lost most of a row, maybe 2, maybe even 3, but at the very least, row 2 looks to be doing pretty good. Maybe once we get past the high grass, I'll cut the irrigation back on, and we'll see if that makes any market improvement. But just giving you a quick status update, because I gotta get back to the office and get to work. Alrighty, it is now the 2nd day of August, and I hopefully have passed the torch off successfully to volunteers. And they came out here, did a whole bunch of weeding, got all the stakes back down, put some bricks out, and I think they've decided they're going to move to cinder blocks here in the next week or two. And I'm going to attempt to reactivate the irrigation system today, and hopefully it hasn't sprung a leak. And the plants look a little bit sad, and they could use some water, so hopefully we can get some water on them, and hopefully I don't regret this. Alright, well it looks like row 2 is our best one, but really just the front. Plants are about 2.5, 3 foot tall, a little bit under waist height. And we got stink buggage going on thoroughly already, so that'll be great. Have not thinned anything, never got a chance to, so I don't think I'm going to. We'll see if keeping them a little thick allows them to produce a little bit more fruit, or if it makes them more vegetative. We'll call it experimental. But the plants are still alive, kind of. They are just hurting. They're hurting for some water. So I have that all set up. I'm going to go switch the spigot on, and hopefully we'll have water and no major leaks. Alrighty, I think we're going to call this episode here. Has not been a great year, but we have our plans for next year, and we still have plants. And thankfully the volunteers were able to help me, and they're not done yet. So hopefully we should get this plot looking halfway decent again. And I mean, for August, these plants don't look all that bad, honestly. 3 foot high in August. Still have bulbs on the plants, still flowering strong. I think we might just make half a crop, quarter of a crop. Set your expectations low, kids. And then when you meet them, you feel great, even though you really want them to be 4 times as much. But anywho, I digress. If you like what I'm doing here, consider giving the video a like, comment, tell me some other thoughts and considerations on how I can improve this plot and its management in the future. And if you want to see the rest of this series, you got to subscribe. So smash that big old red button down there. Until next time, Tom out.